All right, this is going to be a screen recording on how to use the spreadsheet for scoring at regional competitions for the Washington State Math Council High School Contest. Okay, I've clicked on one of the spreadsheets here, and to start with, there's this page where we're going to enter a lot of data, but we're going to start by clicking at the bottom tab, bottom left corner. There's an info tab, and we're going to click there. Now, the first thing you got to do is set this up, whoever's running this spreadsheet. And so the first thing you want to do is make sure you got your correct region number, and your regional director should know that. I'm setting this up for, let's say, region. I'm going to change it to 5. So I just click on the box and tap 5 and enter. And then I should put in my regional director name. I am not the regional director for region 5, but I'll just type my name in anyway. And an email address. Okay, so that's my email address in case you need to use it. Down here, you can also find them but they happen to be the incorrect ones on this page. Now, this might be kind of small for you to see, so I'm going to enlarge the view size here, and that'll be someplace else on different platforms, but that you can increase the size so you can see it a little better. Okay, try to make it so you can fit your screen. All right. Now you can see there's a section in here for entering the results from the no down. There's no other place to put that. It has information on how to contact me here. All right. Steps for using this worksheet are over here on the right hand side. And so after I've copied the scoring sheet to my computer, and so I'm going to be emailing this to the regional director, so they should have a file of it. And whoever's scoring should have this file copied onto their computer. Then it says enter in B1, enter the region number in B1, which is B1 where I just put the region 5. Enter the regional director's name and email in cells E1 and E2, and that's what I put right here. Generally, these brown, orangey, pinky, whatever color that is where you want to put those. Looks brown on my screen here, but I think it looks pink on some others, okay? All right. Don't forget to regularly update. Okay. Now for each school, you may tab to the schools down at the bottom. It has, at the very bottom here, it has a tab for school 1, school 2, school 3, school 4. So I'm going to click on school 1. And I don't, let's say this is, let's make one up, Wsmc High School, Washington State High School, okay? And I would love to have address in zip in case I have to mail stuff to this particular school. Oop, I misspelled Washington. I just go back and fix that. Should be able to go back. I might have to send ribbons or whatever in case there's ties or something. And so I'd love to have the address in the school, city, and zip. Very important to have this coach's name because I generally email out the results, and so I need the coach's name and their email address. So I'm just going to make me the coach here. And email. And notice, I mistyped my email there. Now it's trying to send me an email. Don't do that. I'll have to click on the side the box, and then let's see. I'll have to type it all again. Stop that. Here we go. Go back here. Take the O out of there, just in case you're using this. It's not important for this demo. All right, fax number is not so important anymore. A phone number that I can reach you in just in case there's some special emergency. But get that information in. The next most important thing, and I can see that's on the info tab here. It says please don't put on high school or HS, because I end up having to go take that all off. Just put in the simple first name. It makes the results pretty easy. It didn't say it. Where is it here? Oh, this box right here, number 5. Enter Division 1 for if you're a AA, AAA, or quadruple A, and 2 if you're a smaller school. You don't want to compete in the wrong category against other schools. So I'm going to say this Washington State High School is a Region 2 or Division 2. So that means it's a B or A or a single A, B or double B or 2B or something like that. The smaller school division. So it's very important to get this particular box correct. All right. Now, I've pulled up an old scoring sheet from a region. So there are student names in here. They were in a region. So they're typed in here. Now you can type the names in any box. For instance, I could type in, let's add me as a team member over here. Should have put me in the senior for senior citizens, but that's not what I'm going to do here. So, and you can put the team names any place you want. I could have put a team name down here. And it doesn't matter where, as long as it's under the proper age category. Seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. Okay? Now, it's keeping total of how many team members are on here. And I use this for statistics and ordering information for the following years. Okay? So now it says it's a Region 5 school. It's a Division 2 school. And this is the name and the coach's name and email. And now I have to assign, and the coaches need to hopefully tell you who's going to be on what. Now, let's say we do have a project. And so, some schools have 2 projects. So you can put, and some may have even 3. So I'm going to say that all my seniors up here, these four seniors, did a project together, and they brought along a sophomore, Andrew. He was pretty good kid and pretty good at working with projects and wanted to be a part of it. So they got a 5-team member project. Now, after all the projects is being scored, I will put up here, it says project scores. Let me enlarge this a little bit more here. Project scores go in this box here. So let's say they got a 22. That will automatically put their results on the project tab. Now on the project tab and all these tabs here, you do not need to do anything with those until you're done getting all the scores in and you want to look up the results. The main information here is put on the school tabs. Now let's go on and let's assign these team members, these different students, to teams for the team problem, which is the first part of the contest. So let's say I have these 5 people, and let's say for some reason the coach thought they could put duplicate seniors on a team, which is not in the rule. So let's say they wanted to put Sebastian and Liam on team number 1 of the team problem. Over here where the team problem scores go, you'll notice that the bar here turns out to be this pink, brown, whatever color this is, to light up, saying it's not a varsity team anymore. It can't compete for a state berth because it just disqualified itself because of the team makeup. Now, if I I'll take Sebastian off that team and put him on team 2, and now that box is not highlighted, saying, okay, you have not violated any team rules. Now, each senior can be with a junior, 2 other persons. You can be teams of 3. Doesn't have to be teams of 3. It can be team of 1. So I'm going to add other people. Let's see. I'm going to have Liam be with Ryan. So he's going to be on team 1, and I'll put Anthony on team 1. On team 2, I've got Sebastian, and I'll put Cynthia, and I'll put it must be Adam. There must be a misspell there. And then on team 3, I'm going to put Peter, and I'll put Ginger, and I'll put Summer over here on team 3. And team 4, I'll put Helen and Niceway, and nobody there. So there's only 2 on that team, and I can make team 5 be Jim Miller and Joe Smith and Jim Miller. Okay. Now let's just go look at this. See what happens here when I put a team score in. So I'm going to say team 1 got a let's say an 18. Okay, so I'm going to enter that, and now I'm going to check and see that this reports it as a team problem results for region 2. So team problem, I'm going to go to the bottom and click on varsity team problem tab, and I should see the Washington that I've got misspelled still. Washington State has a team in there, team 1 with Sebastian, Ryan, and Andrew with a score of 18. Score of 18 in Division 2. Right here we have they got 3rd place with a score of 18. Liam, Ryan, and Anthony. Okay, so it automatically puts that in there. Now, there's a lot of other schools in here. You can see that they're from Region 5. That's up by Bellingham area. And I just pulled up one of their old sheets, scoring sheets, so I could show you how this works. So let's go back to School 1. Now, if I change this 2 to a 1, then I'll do that. Now I'll go back to that varsity team report, and you'll no longer see them over here. You'll see them over here competing against the varsity big schools, and so that score of 18 now, it places them 12th among those folks. So you got to have the size of school correct, or it's going to score them against the wrong people here. Okay, let's go back and change them back to a Division 2 school. All right, now we got to set up the topical. Now the topical can be taken either as an individual or as a team. So I'm going to say Sebastian is going to take this. Oh, let me finish up with one thing with team problem, and that is it has room for 10 teams here under varsity, and then it changes to JV. So if you have, let's say we wanted to put, let's say Helen on team 5. That would make team 5, it's going to automatically consider it a JV team. But what if team 2 wasn't a strong team and they just didn't want their score to be scored as considered for state? And then there's a special score sheet that has hints on the team problem. And it's called a JV score sheet. So if I want them to be considered a JV team, right now their makeup, it doesn't make them a JV team. So what I can do is change their team number to some number above 11. So let's say I make them be be 11. It doesn't have to be 11 or above, I should have said. So I'm going to change team 2 to be team 11. And now this sheet, if I put in a score for team 11, let's say they got a 7. Okay, they weren't a real strong team, and so they just didn't want to compete and didn't want to there. It will then not show their results in the Division 2. You can see there's no 7. But if I go down on the top, the tab on JV team problem, you'll see all of them are just clumped together here, and you can see the 7 shows up here in the junior varsity teams. Okay, now, last thing with that. If you have more than 10 varsity teams from one school, you can go and adjust where this bar considers JV. If they have more that want to be in the JV, you can move it up or down. And that's this box right over here. It says 10 in it. If I say 13, now it moves, now 11 becomes a varsity team. And if I go back over here and click on the varsity team problem, you'll see that 7 show up in the Division 2. Okay, you can see it right here. Okay, back to school one. So that's everything about how to score the team problem. So all the scorer has to do is make sure you get the names incorrect and assign the proper team numbers, and watch for bars here of improper team makeup. They will not be scored if their team has 2 seniors or 2 juniors or 2 sophomores or more than 4 people on a team. For instance, that's another one I should probably show you here. So let's say we had team 3. Let's put Nice Way on team 3 also. And notice now we have 4 people on team 3. They're all of different age level, but it says that's an improper makeup. Can only have 3. Okay? So it automatically excludes them if they violate the team makeup rules. Okay? So watch for those little bars to light up to indicate that those problems, and discuss with the coach. Did you really mean to have these folks on these teams? Okay? All right, let's move on to the topical team. Let's say Sebastian's going to be on team 1 and Ryan's going to be on team 1 and Andrew is going to be on team 1. Okay? And let's say team 2 is going to be Helen and Cynthia and Summer. And those are perfectly fine. Now, in the topical, you can compete as a team member or as an individual. So, and it's done in 2 parts, 2 30-minute tests. So let's say the scores came back and we scored part 1 for team 1, and they got a, let's say 15 on part 1. Notice it updates their total. And on part 2, let's say they got a 21. So that gives them a score of 36. Okay? Now team 2, let's say they got a 75 on the first part and a 37 on the second part. So they got 112. We should be able to see those results in Division 2 of the topical teams. That's the top team T down here. So if I click on that tab, I'm looking for scores of 36 and 112. 36, 112 would put Washington State as a second place team, and it has the 3 people that I put on that team's names right there. The 36 would place them as a 13th with Sebastian, Ryan, and Andrew on that team. And we can go back and check and see if that's actually who I put on that team. Team 2, Team 1, Sebastian, Ryan, and Andrew. Okay, now some people mess this thing up by putting something in if they're going to do individuals. If they're individuals, and let's say all the rest of the team members here are going to compete in the topical individually. Let's say Liam does that, and he gets a let's say a 39 and no, I typed 29. Okay, well, we'll go with a 29. 29 and 60. Had trouble with the first test, but got the second one right. Now on my screen, this shows a total score of 89. Now it could, you may get number signs in here, and that might be just a function of whether your screen adjusts the size of the spreadsheet and can't quite fit the number in there. Don't worry about it. If you've typed the right number in there, it should show you the right total, or it will show you the right total. Now this is Liam competing in the topical individual, and there is no division categories on this, so there are age categories. So he's going to show up in the topical individuals. Liam from Washington State, overall individuals with an 89. There's Liam from Washington State High School. He had a score of 89. That would give him fourth place. Fourth place, 89. And it also puts it over here as Liam McDonald as the only senior. So he will get, he's the only senior, he would have gotten Outstanding Senior Award, Distinguished Senior Award. Okay? But he would have got fourth overall. Okay? And that's, for everyone that's individual, you put their two scores in here, and that should show a score here. And it then should score them against all the other individuals on the topical individuals. Now, in the no down, the coach can indicate who they want to have, just in case you want to set up name tags or something for this. But the rule says that you can have up to 3 individuals for no down, and you can just type anything in the no down box to indicate that that's there. It really doesn't do anything on the spreadsheet because it's just for information, whoever is looking at this, that, oh, they intended these 3 to be in the no down. You can put an X or a K or a 1, 2, and 3 or whatever. Doesn't do anything. Now, oh, and we forgot this. There was a team here. Team 1 got 22 on the project. So let's go to the project results page and see. Oh, that placed them second behind Bellingham here in the team project results. And it has their team names on there. Okay. So that's pretty much all there is. The reason we're getting results from these other folks in all those pages is because School Tool already has what it was last year. Now you can see I've got a number sign on here. Now this is pretty small. Sometimes if you just change how large the sheet is, it'll change whether the numbers show up. But you have to use whatever works on your screen. Okay? You shouldn't be able to go in and change anything in the green boxes. And please don't. That's all you have to do. The results are on this page here, and then you can use those to report the results. You want to maybe double check and make sure everybody's showing up. If you accidentally type in more than just a team number, like if I were in, let's go back to our Washington State High School here. Let's take Liam. And he's on a team problem, and if I put in space 1, then I think that will take him off of team 1 in the team varsity team problem. Let's go over here. It didn't. Okay, space doesn't do it. But if I put something in there that's not a number, let's say I put in 1A. Then over here in the team problem, his name will have come off of that. So if you accidentally type the number incorrectly, and I do that a lot, I'm a fumble finger on the keyboard, it will not recognize it. It needs to be recognized as a number on the sheet. And same thing if you're putting in the scores, if you accidentally put in the wrong thing or don't put in both parts of the test, it may not score that. Okay? Last thing I want to say is you can go down here and change the tab to say, if you double click on it or right click on it, I'm not sure which way, I can put on here like this. It might be WS to help remind me that this is from the school from Washington State and has this information in it. Now let's go back here and make sure I've gone through everything here. We enter the division number they are, 1 or a 2, then put in their first and last names. Please put them in first name and then last name, not last name comma first name, because that I'm just asking for everybody to do them the same way so I don't have to go back and fix that. Then enter the number of the after them. If they're on the project team, put the numbers in for those. If they're on a team problem, put their numbers in. And it talks about the JV and the numbering and that A9 cell that you can change the number of JV teams. And then go put the numbers in for the topical teams, X in for the no down. Do not put anything in with for the topical individuals. It says that here. X for the no down. Enter the scores where they appropriate. Project scores start at C4, team problems C13, topical team part 1 and is an F3, and part 2 is in G3. Individuals go by their names. Don't forget to regularly save at the end of the thing. At the end, after the no down, just type their names and the name of first, second, third, and the alternate and the school they are from over here in the no down on this page. Forgot to say that. And then save this. You can select the parts to print if you want to print out the results of first, second, third, and if you have printing capability. Now, one thing you notice in this big red here, if you go in and type something into, say, this one here, type this in and say, oh, I don't want to do that. If you do Control X or Command X, that erases stuff, this will foul up the whole sheet. If you move out of that, if you Control X and try to move that up to here, Command V, it will break all the links in this spreadsheet. It'll totally mess it up. So do not ever use Control X. All these cells are linked together, and the results are all use those linkage. And so if you do the Control X, you totally mess that up. Now, if you accidentally do that, you should be able to go back and undo that last step, and it'll refasten the links. If you do several Control X's and mess things up, you're going to have to start over with a new scoring spreadsheet workbook and re-enter everything. So do not use Control X. If you really mess up a school, you can go move. If I messed up Washington State only, I believe that you can just say skip that tab and go down to another school tab and put them in again in a different tab, and don't use Control X, and it should score them normally, and it'll just not score anything off of this one correctly. It'll mess this particular school's information up. Save it and email it to me. Again, my email is right here. Those are old ones. I got new ones. The sheet you have will have the new ones here. email the sheet as soon as you're done getting the information in there and the scoring in, please, because I need to get this information out to the state. Thank you so much for watching my video on how to run this spreadsheet.